Please sit down.
What we mostly witness in the country today are low-level skirmishes and attacks, which are more prevalent on soft targets. Nevertheless, we are aware that we are dealing with a shrewd, ruthless, and brutal enemy. Accordingly, we are prepared to act with the relevant level of force that will be needed to dismantle these terror groups in whatever form that they take across the country. Indeed, our strategy is to undermine the abilities of these terror groups, after which we create conditions whereby these terror groups cannot carry out terror on our citizens or harm them. To this end, we have prioritized targeting the terrorist leaders, their commanders, their foot soldiers, as well as their collaborators. Already, we have declared that all these group of persons, their leaders, their commanders, their agents are all dead men walking. When we say that, it is not a threat, but a fact, as we have indeed taken out several of these terrorist leaders and their commanders off the battlefield, as you will soon get to know. For instance, in the Northeast, in this month of August alone, we took out the following terrorist leaders and commanders. We are intensifying operations in the Northwest, North Central, Southeast, and South-South. Our focus is to defeat and dismantle the threat posed by these terror groups. Now, let's take a look at the outcomes of our operations in the month of August. This month, troops neutralized 419 terrorists across all theaters of operations. They arrested 767 suspects while rescuing 448 kidnapped hostages. Additionally, troops recovered 278 weapons, kidnapped hostages in the course of operations during the month of August. Additionally, troops recorded a total of 4,582 surrendered terrorist combatants and their families in the course of the month. Additionally, troops recorded the surrender of over 2,243 combatants. The summary of recovered items are as follows. 102 AK-47 rifles were recovered. Over 3,200 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special ammunition was recovered among several items recovered during the month of August 2024. We can now move over to the North Central, where we have Operation Safe Haven. The troops of Operation Safe Haven conducted offensive operations to dominate the theater of operation during the month of August. The troops conducted operations to strongholds, hideouts, and enclaves of violent extremists operating particularly in Plateau. Significantly, we recorded the following. 3 high-profile gun runners were arrested, namely Arayu Abdul Karim alias Malam, Danladi Kefas, and Williams Haruna. These persons were all arrested in the course of operations and not the same operations. They were arrested in separate operations. Relatedly, arrest was made of another notorious violent extremist and gun runner named Malam Hashimu Ahmad in Lere local government area of Kaduna State. Furthermore, troops arrested a notorious kidnapper named Sebastian Caleb, who was arrested in Bokos local government area of Plateau State. Troops also intercepted and arrested several illegal miners in Jos North local government area of Plateau State, all in the course of the month of August. Overall, the troops of Operation Safe Haven neutralized 41 violent extremists, arrested 259 of them, and rescued 110 kidnapped hostages during the month of August. The troops of Operation Safe Haven also recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 16 assorted arms, and over 2,200 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition in the course of the month of August. Still, in the North Central, let's go deeper as we look at Operation Wild Stroke. The troops of Operation Wild Stroke conducted several operations during the month of August. These operations ranged from search and rescue to raids to fighting patrols and several other forms of aggressive operations. The operational area for troops of Operation Wild Stroke spans from Benue to Taraba and Nasarawa states. And the purpose of these operations is definitely to defeat the terrorists hibernating in these areas and dismantle their terror infrastructure. These operations resulted in several arrests and recoveries. For instance, troops arrested some notorious gun runners, namely James Nuhu, Dan Asabe Anungo. Now, these persons were arrested in Wukari metropolis of Taraba State. Similarly, troops arrested a terrorist commander and a gun runner named Ishaku Yusuf, alias Jamini. He was arrested in Bantaji Market in Taraba State. His arrest is among several other arrests that were made. Interestingly, a female gun runner was arrested at Suba Bridge Motor Park. Troops equally arrested 2 other gun runners. One was arrested in Makodi, Benue State, while the other was arrested in Karu, local government area of Nasarawa State. You will see from our operations that indeed we are going after the terrorist leaders, their commanders, their foot soldiers, and their agents. Overall, the troops of Operation Wild Stroke neutralized 32 terrorists, arrested 77, and rescued 40 kidnapped hostages in the course of the month of August. The troops of Operation Wild Stroke also recovered 5 AK-47 rifles, 5 assorted arms, and over 100 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special ammunition, among other items recovered in the course of the month of August. We can now cross over to the northwest, where we have Operation Hadarin Daji. During the month of August, the troops of Operation Hadarin Daji neutralized over 110 terrorists, arrested 89, and rescued 165 kidnapped hostages in the course of their operations. Additionally, the troops of Operation Hadarin Daji recovered 16 AK-47 rifles, 28 assorted arms, and 432 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special ammo, among other items recovered in the course of the month of August. Now to the Operation Wild Punch, still in the northwest. The troops of Operation Wild Punch recorded the following in the month of August. The troops neutralized 59 terrorists, arrested 208, and rescued 47 kidnapped hostages in the course of their operations. The troops also recovered 19 AK-47 rifles, 14 assorted arms, and over 2,000 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special, among other items recovered in the course of the month. Now to the south-south, where we have Operation Delta Save. The troops of Operation Delta Save maintained the momentum against the activities of perpetrators of crude oil theft. The troops continued to find and destroy illegal refining sites, as well as arrest the perpetrators of crude oil theft. Our operations in the course of the month spiked the nation's daily crude oil production to cross the 1.5 million barrels per day mark. Nevertheless, as part of our operational efforts, troops are urging for more transparency by the international oil companies operating in the region, transparency with the deployment of accurate metering system. Troops are also seeking cooperation of stakeholders in the oil sector, as well as cooperation of the local communities. Importantly, troops are also monitoring the prosecution of culprits arrested perpetrating crude oil theft. This is recognized as critical in the fight against crude oil theft. And we believe that the combination of all these actions and activities will surely enable our operations to hit and cross the 2 million barrel per day mark, which is the target of our country. Now, during the month of August, the troops of Operation Delta Save arrested 54 persons involved in crude oil theft. The troops also denied the oil theft of over 3.7 million liters of crude oil, over 800,000 liters of AGO, otherwise known as diesel, over 100 liters of DPK, otherwise known as kerosene, and over 27,500 liters of PMS, otherwise known as petrol. Furthermore, the troops of Operation Delta Save recovered 163 assorted ammunition. They destroyed 94 wooden boats as well as 339 illegal refining sites in the course of their operations in the month of August. Now to the southeast, where we have Operation Udoka. The troops of Operation Udoka conducted offensive operations against the indigenous people of Biafra and their Eastern Security Network terror group in the southeast states. Now, the operations conducted targeted killing terrorists as well as arresting them. It also recorded recoveries of arms and ammunition in the month of August. Our operations against the indigenous people of Biafra and their Eastern Security Network cohorts were recorded in Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Imo, and Enugu states. And what I mean by that is, in the course of the month, we had activities of these groups that we had to carry out operations in those states to overcome them. Troops in the course of the month also intercepted and arrested indigenous people of Biafra and their Eastern Security Network terror elements on several encounters, significantly in Ohafia and Abuata local government areas of Abia State and Anambra states, respectively. Similarly, troops intercepted and arrested indigenous people of Biafra and their Eastern Security Network terrorist collaborator in Olu local government area of Imo State. The troops of Operation Udoka equally conducted operations to curb crude oil theft within their area of responsibility. Several arrests and recoveries were made as a result of these operations. Overall, the troops of Operation Udoka neutralized 21 terrorists, arrested 59, and rescued 17 kidnapped hostages in the course of the month of August. Additionally, the troops of Operation Udoka recovered 10 assorted arms, 45 rounds of 7.62mm NATO ammunition, over 90 live cartridges, and 69 assorted ammunition in the course of their operations in the month of August. Now, to summarize, I will say that the motivation of the terrorists is getting lower and lower, particularly in the Northeast, as I have earlier mentioned. This is responsible for the surrendering that we are recording in the Northeast. Now it is time for us to replicate this in other theaters of operation, and troops are committed to achieving this. The troops are also on a high alert as we have increased our readiness to protect the country from further terrorist aggression. Now, I've said this severally, but I need to say it one more time. We must understand that this war is not a quick fix, but a long and enduring military operation of which, at the end, these terrorists will be destroyed and we will have a safer nation. Counterterrorism operation is an operation such that it's not a sprint, but a marathon. We understand that this war has gone on for so long, but we are committed to ending it, as we know that we are closer to the end than from the beginning when it all started. Thank you very much. That you're watching showcase still no more terrorism. Believe me, there will be no more terrorism. When I watched that video, I was moved. And I wish all Nigerians would be moved to taking the bull by the horn as we go against this terrorist. How many are they compared to us? If it's bullets that they have, how many do they have compared to what we have? I repeat it again. Winning this war is not just about the military, our equipment, or finances. It largely depends on the people. Thank you. Oh, lastly, is this Shiite movement. How do they call them again? Yes, Islamic movement of Nigeria. I totally agree that this group have been proscribed. I totally agree that this group are likened to a terrorist group. And I totally agree that this group should be treated as such for what they are. Just about a week ago, they killed security forces. Unprovoked attacks. We will not accept this. We will not accept this. And believe me, we are doing something about it. Thank you. Now, troops are fighting simultaneously in various theaters of operation across the country. Now, these operations have different level of intensity, and it's more intense when we look at the northeast to the northwest and the north central. Particularly in the Niger Delta area, we have increased intensity because we want to meet up with the crude oil production target for the nation. Now, who are we fighting? We are fighting an enemy that has taken up different forms in different parts of the country. But this enemy for us is one and the same, the terrorist. You may want to see that some people, when they are talking, they'll say bandits, some people will say headers, some people will give other kinds of names. Take it from me, they are all terrorists, because what they do is carry out acts of terror against our citizens and against our nation. Now, if they be terrorists, then we, as a military, will bring overwhelming military force upon them to destroy them, take out their leadership, their commanders, their foot soldiers, and indeed annihilate them from the surface of the earth. I will take a look at what you have mentioned about some of them brandishing loot recovered from whatever way they got it, mostly thought to be ransom that have been paid. And I will say to that winning this war without the support of the people is closely impossible. These persons that we have seen on social media brandishing their loot, I will say belong in two categories. First is they are not ghosts. They are proven to us that they are not ghosts. So they come from a family, they come from a home, they come from a community, they come from a state. They have brothers, they have sisters. People know them. Those who know them, what are they doing to assisting security forces to get to them? We as a force, we are not spirit. I have said it severally that you see something, you say something. And I even modified it. I said that more people know than those who see. So if you know something, you say something, and we will do something about it. That is what I have to say. We need to get to those people, and people know them. So they should tell us something so we can get to them. Now, the other aspect is that, have you watched some of those videos? And if you watch them closely, you will see that some of those persons are not Nigerians. So what does that tell us? It tells us that we are dealing with transnational jihadists. And this takes us to why we have the multinational joint task force that we have in N'Djamena. But now we can see that they are coming at us towards the Sokoto axis. Because they come in, we go after them, and they run out. What I'll say to that is that we have operational flexibility. We have noted it, and we have operational flexibility. And that is the ability for us to direct our forces to meet our strategic objectives. And that is exactly the adjustments that we're making in our operations in order to address that situation. Did I miss a question?
Because since me, I don't even have camera. Do you know how many people I don't know?